And we're going to start things off with Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Emergency exits are located at the back of the building and to my right. If there's an emergency in the building, please do not use the elevator, use the stairs. If you need assistance, please ask someone from Derry TV or one of the commissioners for assistance. We'll start our meeting off with the introduction of commissioners. We'll start to my right.
Christopher Morlock.
Cheryl Holbert.
Rick Metz.
Bob Spoerl.
Eileen Chabot.
Pamela Bureau.
Linda Comrie.
Val Connolly.
And I'm the chair, Riccardo Buzzanga. We're going to have our recording secretary taking minutes via Derry TV, so I want everybody to kind of speak up tonight, so she can pick it up off the broadcast. We are missing Jay tonight, and I'm going to have Christopher. Can you sit for Jay this evening?
Yes.
And I don't think we're missing any other commissioners. Is that accurate? No? Okay, good. We'll start the meeting off with the approval of minutes. Everyone should have gotten a digital copy, and there's also a copy in front of you. If there's no corrections needed, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I don't have a copy.
Yeah. Oh, she got one?
Yes, she's got one. Yeah, Bob gave one.
Do you want them? Sure.
It's good.
I brought my own.
We got a little business to do. So we should have time to do it. Eileen, do you see anything that needs to be addressed?
No, I don't. I would make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of our last meeting on May 4th, 2026.
Second.
Let's hear first by Eileen, second by Mr. Metz. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Abstain.
We have a unanimous vote, and we have one abstention. Bob Spoerl is abstaining.
2, myself as well.
We have 2 abstentions, so we still have
5 to 2.
5 votes, so the motion carries. 2 abstentions, Commissioner Spoerl and Val. Okay. Next order of business is the chair's report and correspondence. I'm going to put them together. We're still very busy. Beth and I have our weekly phone call, moving our agenda forward. Committees are meeting and doing their work. We had a good meeting with Owen prior to this meeting, how we're integrating DerryCAM into Derry Conservation Commission, and getting our information out to the public. So we're busy, very busy. I'm gonna go through this kind of quickly because we have a full agenda tonight, and I don't want to be here until midnight. So I'm gonna kind of blast through this. We're working. You actually have a copy of this,
Yep.
Mr. Metz. We're working on a sample solicitation letter to landowners in town that we're going to be sending as we find properties that are on our target list as potential conservation properties. So we have our sample letter. Mr. Metz, myself, and Beth are going to continue tweaking that letter. Once I think it's ready for the whole commission to look at and chime in, we'll be putting it forward to them. In our meeting with Owen today, we're going to use excerpts of that letter in social media and on Derry TV, soliciting properties from people tuning in to Derry TV and to the numerous Derry social media sites. We've been asked by the Beaver Lake Watershed, the Beaver Lake Improvement Association, to participate in their watershed management plan. It was something that was put together in 2007, and they're doing a new one. They've asked us to get involved. It's a plan that they do together with DES and the town of Derry. We're going to be meeting with them and potentially assign a commissioner to that process. The initial meeting will probably be myself, maybe Beth will join me, and then depending on what the meeting schedule and the workload on that, we'll probably assign a commissioner to that project. We are working on the deed restriction for Broadview Farm, and Beth is going to go over that in her land manager report. We have our first agricultural land lease agreement, actually paper deal, at least the first one that we've had since I've been on the commission for 15 or 17 years, however long it's been. And I have that. I'm going to hand it to my right. Bob already took a look at it and liked it. So it's going to go this way first. You can look at it. And that's for the Broadview Farm meadow kind of behind, between Broadview and I guess that's East Derry Road, right? East Derry Road, yeah. South sent me a field and management series workshop. That's going to go to my left. Eileen's probably going to tell us about that too. And we have a reported alleged violation, 63 English Range Road, Derry. That's going to go to my left. That's a communication from DES. We have a flyer from Salt Everlasting. It's about, kind of talks about how many properties they've conserved, and it talks about some of the people involved in their process. I've worked with, I think, most of the people that are pictured in this. We've started a process checking the revenues coming into the commission prior to our meeting, and Beth meets or has a communication with the Derry finance people. We're continuing to receive revenues from the numerous projects in town where the properties are in current use and they're paying the current use exchange tax. So revenues remain fairly strong for us, that we're going to be using hopefully soon on the 2 or 3 conservation properties that we're considering right now. And I believe that's all I have. Are we ready for, yeah? Okay, so first order of business outside of our regular agenda is a site plan review. It is map 10, lot 12, 187 Hampstead Road. The owner is, that's for Ricky, right? Yeah. The owner is Bird Enterprises LLC, 41 Rage Road, Wyndham, New Hampshire. Surveyor is the Meisner Brem Corporation of Salem, New Hampshire. They're presenting a site plan review. The applicant, Jay Yanako, is here, and the presenter is Kurt Meisner. Everyone should have a copy of an 11 by 17 plan, and I have a full page set. I think we're trying to get another set up on the screen here. Derry TV, are we going to get a set up on the screen? Beth, did they get your zip drive?
Say that again?
Did they get your zip drive? Yes. Okay. Derry TV, give me a signal. We're going to get that up on the screen, or should we proceed? Proceed? Thank you. Okay, Kurt, we have plans in front of us. You have one in front of you. Why don't you run through it for us?
I do. Good evening, Mr. Chairman and board members. I'm Kurt Meisner with Meisner Brem Corporation. This is Jay Yanako. He's the proprietor, the owner of Bird Enterprises. We're here tonight. We have an amended minor site plan. This site plan was approved back in February of 2025, and basically, if you see on the second sheet of what we're looking at, the general site was the existing church site that's at 187 Hampstead Street, Hampstead Road, and that's about an 8.5 acre site. At the time, we were utilizing probably about a half of the site with an existing parking lot, the existing building, and Mr. Yanako has sort of retrofitted that for his business purposes and the uses that he has, which is basically a landscape supply company and Northeast Elite Athletics, which is inside the building. The landscape supply company is basically outside of the building. So what we're hoping to amend to the site plan now is a small area of upland that's located on the southeast corner. It's shown on the second sheet, and you can see there's a red dotted line that runs around the upland. And that wetland that is shown there was field located by Tom Sokolowski of TES Environmental. And what we're hoping to do is to utilize that area for a stock holding area. So he purchases nursery stock and is going to place it on that spot of land there and hold it as a storage area. So that's the general idea of what we're doing. The only other portion of that needs to have any addition is a gravel pathway that runs from the existing parking lot over to that upland area. We have shown on sheet 3, we show a detail of a mulch berm that basically goes right around the circumference of the entire piece of upland there for protection of the wetlands. That's an organic mulch berm. So I guess that's a general overall view of what we're looking to do. So if you have questions of myself or Jay, we're happy to help you.
Thank you. The gravel driveway that goes over there, that's existing? It says existing on the
It's
plan.
there now, yes. It was not there when we had the original site plan approved back in January of 25. But they put that in there to work, they cut down some of the brush and scrub that was in there to see if the area was suitable to use.
Right.
Only a portion of that's there, just off of the pavement now. Across that whole way, I'd have to continue that. I don't have it all there now.
So what is that, like, gonna be like a crushed stone?
That's it, just a crushed stone.
And there's not a
Just an
wet,
access path, right?
That's it.
there's not a wetland, is there a wetland crossing there?
There is not, no.
So that, where it gets into where the wetlands come real tight, that was not a wetland that it crossed there?
That was not, and that was, we had that field located by Tom Sokolowski, and
Gotcha.
there was a gap between the wetland.
Yeah, that's probably why it's curved like that. You gonna be using equipment on that?
Yeah, yes, I will. Small equipment,
Forklifts,
either.
stuff like that?
The largest piece of equipment would be over there would be it's called an SVL 75 Kubota skid steer, which is a tracked machine.
Yeah, I get it.
The least invasive of
Right.
our equipment, yep.
So you're not bringing tractor trailers in there or anything
I'm
like
not,
that?
no. The pathway is simply just for our use only. It would be either that or, hand carts or whatnot.
You storing any mechanical equipment over there?
No,
Not gonna keep
All
trucks
organic.
or
Everything organic.
forklifts or any of that stuff over there?
No, I will not. I have plenty of space for that otherwise.
There's plenty of parking.
Plenty of parking.
Pavement.
With it being holding stock, are you going to be spraying any excess fertilizers or nutrients for storage?
Hold on one second.
we don't
Before
fertilize.
you answer, Val, can you just either turn up your mic? I could barely hear you, so I'm sure that Tammy can't.
Matt?
That's
Give
better.
me like a
Oh,
1,
yeah.
2, 3 count.
1, 2, 3, go.
Good.
It's
Yep,
as high
yeah.
as I can go.
That's good.
The short answer is no. The long
Sorry,
answer.
Mr. Yanako, could you just ask the
Oh, I'm
question?
sorry.
again?
Sorry,
Just so you know, we have our recording secretary is going to do this remotely, so she's going to pick it up off the TV in order to take the minutes.
Yes, of course. Sorry, Tammy. My question was, will there be any spraying of fertilizers or needed nutrients for the stock to be held over there?
The short answer, like I said, the short answer is no. The long answer is a re-wholesale nursery like myself. We're predominantly a wholesale nursery. We do sell to the public, but a wholesale nursery, we don't fertilize anything. We don't do any spraying. We don't have any licenses for spraying in the state of New Hampshire. You have to be approved at a pesticide or to get fertilizer. We don't do any of that, so the answer is no.
And I think I heard too, but just clarifying earlier, it sounded like the curve of the wetland, the spot where you had the gravel path now, there was a gap between the two, so there shouldn't be any need of filling or anything?
Yeah, there's no filling of the wetland. This is just, it loops around and then it actually just doesn't touch each other.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
On the berm, there's a berm detail here, and there's an elaborate process for the type of berm that's used and best practices regarding rain events and inspections and stuff like that. Is all that stuff going to be conducted by you, Mr. Yanako? Are you outsourcing that, or is that going to be done in-house? Thank you, Owen.
No, that'll be done by us. We have the capabilities and the ability to do exactly that. Our nursery stock currently, and has been for the 20 years I've been in business, is all, for no better terms, called heeled in. So you dig a small portion, just basically so it doesn't tip over.
Sure.
A tree or something like that, and then it's mulched in. So we already use wood chips or organic materials, any organic material being wood chips or stump grindings for all of our product anyway.
Right.
So we're kind of like, everything gets filtered regardless. That's just what we do because
But
what makes sense.
the berm
The
itself.
berm will be put up by us,
Yeah.
and it'll be maintained by us.
inspected by you guys.
We already have the materials on site. It was suggested by TRC that we use the actual stump grindings because they're longer and grainier, which I contacted my mulch company. They actually had it, so we already had it delivered.
Yeah,
Yep.
perfect.
If memory serves me right, all those plants and shrubs in this new storage area are bald, right? For the most part?
For the most part, will be balled and burlapped, yes. The things that might not be balled and burlapped, or the only things that I would choose to not be balled and burlapped in there would be something that's shade loving. Rhododendron,
Yep.
azalea, something to that effect, because we fully intend on keeping that canopy. I'm not cutting.
And Val, to your point, they don't add any fertilizers, but those balls do contain fertilized soil, yes, no?
So the root balls of trees do not generally contain fertilizers. The fertilizers that the root balls come in field-grown material, are done over a course of time at the growing nurseries. And then by the time they dig them, there's no fertilizer left in those trees. The containerized materials do have a slow-release tablet in there. It's only done if you're dating back your memories a little bit better than mine. I had to go back and review. They use, of course. They use a slow release pellets in the containerized materials. Think of it like a BB. And that is done. That only releases when the plant is in the ground for more than 14 days and the temperature of the soil is 70 degrees or greater. So it never releases in my nursery. It's only once it's given and planted.
Just wanted to follow up on that because I know we talked about that during TRC.
Yes, we did. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions from the commission?
Yeah, I do.
Good, Eileen.
That proposed tree and shrub storage area, was that never a wetland, or was that a previously filled wetland? Because it just seems like kind of an odd shape, where there's wetlands all around it. It just seems kind of very odd that it would just not be originally a wetland. Do you know whether that might have been previously filled by the church, or?
I can't imagine it was previously filled by the church. It doesn't appear to, I mean, there's trees on it. There's trees on it that are 100 years old. I know that.
To have not been, it seems like that would have been a continuous wetland at one time.
It was a wooded area, right? Wasn't it?
It's a wooded area. Yeah, I mean, there's trees on it that are.
The old site plan for the church, the original site plan, I think was 99. Was it 99? It shows exactly the wetland. I'd say exactly. It shows just like what you see up there.
It shows it as upland, really?
It does, yes. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I know when we did the site walk, that was a forested area, Eileen. That was like mature tree growth.
Oh, yeah, there's trees in there that are.
Okay, I don't know.
But you can tell by the soil.
It's a higher elevation, but
when you can tell by the soil when you're walking out there that the elevation's up and it's
like a domed area, kind of?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it maybe doesn't look it on the plan, but it's a big area.
You can see the contours that show on this sheet that we're looking at.
Yeah, I see the contours,
It's
but
8 feet higher.
yeah, I just wondered whether it was original that way or whether it was built up. That's all. Just seems like an awfully odd kind of configuration, but okay.
Thanks, Eileen. Go ahead, Bob.
And I may have missed it if somebody already asked it. The gravel path that you have going to it crosses a little bit of wetland. Is that going to have a culvert under it for water passage, or just?
I'd let you.
It does not. That's the natural state right now. And I'm not sure, it sounded like you said it over the wetland. It's not over the wetland, it's between the wetland. So the wetland doesn't come through, it's just naturally that way.
Okay.
But
That's a
can
good
water,
question, Bob.
can
That's,
water come through that? Like, I think that's what Bob's questioning is.
No.
Like you've got wetland here and you have wetland on the other side of the path. Does
Sure.
water go underneath that gravel path
it
in
does
any
not.
way?
No,
And was it once connected,
No,
before
it
the
does
gravel
not
path
do
went
that. That water goes around the other side. You can see the blue lines on this sheet that we're looking at. Any water that's on one side goes to the other, and that's the way it fills in, just around the topography.
I just don't, I don't see how it gets there, I guess. It's coming down, the wetland's coming down here, and it
think I
looks
can
like the gravel path bisects
I
the
can
two
show you what
ends
the
of the wetland. Like there's a
So
crossing
any
there.
water that's in here can travel right through here, or actually water that's here can travel down
It's all
through
wetland
here.
out there, so the water,
But-
like
You
had it right
But
the
what
first
about
time.
here?
back around.
You had it right the
It
first
would
time we
go
traveled.
back,
Yeah.
almost like the gravel path is a dam? Is that what,
Is
it acting as a dam?
I'll agree with those terms, I guess, for the purposes of what we're talking about. There's just a little.
12 feet or
a
something.
natural, it's about 12 or 15 feet wide little berm.
Just like a lot of things, I mean, if you walk through the woodland anywhere, there's a lot of places where ponds stop and they loop around, and
Well, you
that's
said,
just what it
you
does. I don't
said
know.
previously, though, that gravel path wasn't previously there the last time you came before us.
It's
So
not. It's currently not. It's just
I
the beginning
wonder,
of it.
like, when you came before us before, what did that area look like? Was it,
the same
was
as
the
it is
wetland
now.
connected, in other words?
It was connected.
Huh?
It's the exact same shape and configuration as it always has been.
Okay,
And that includes back to when the church was built.
okay.
No, I think we can go stewardship on that one, too.
Cool concept.
Commissioners, anyone have any other questions regarding the plan?
Yeah, I have one more question.
Go ahead,
Regarding the drainage that's shown here in the parking lot, was that previously there? There's a pipe that goes out to the wetland? It doesn't say what size pipe that is, but a pipe that discharges into the wetland?
All of the drainage that's on this.
Drainage.
It, well, on this plan, it's sheet number, what sheet
You've
is
got
this?
2 of 3.
Sheet 2 of 3. It shows a culvert pipe going out?
I believe you're talking about this area right here.
Yes, right. Was that
Yeah.
always there?
That was, well, it was installed when the church was constructed.
Okay.
So that's always been there. I guess.
Okay, I just, that was my question, whether
Yeah.
that's something new or that was always there. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the commission? Seeing none. Mr. Meisner, what is the protocol that you need this commission to accomplish for you this evening?
So what we're here for is hopefully a positive recommendation for you to send to the planning board, that this board recommends approval from them of the plan as we've shown it.
So recommending approval would be something that we don't normally do.
Yeah.
So I would entertain...
Maybe a better term would be acceptance for this board.
Right.
Yeah.
So our motions need to be made in the affirmative. So I think what the petitioner is looking for is that we do not object to anything on the plan. So it would be, I would entertain a motion that sounded something like that. I think that would satisfy the applicant moving forward. If there's a commissioner that's willing to make that motion.
Move to accept and approve the plan revisions presented for 187 Hampstead Road, Derry, New Hampshire by Bird Enterprises LLC.
Second.
I'll second that.
Can I make a friendly amendment, Mr. Metz? Because we're not going to sign this plan,
We're not really approving it.
yeah, we're not going to accept it or approve it, maybe something to the nature of that we don't have objection to anything happening in the revised site plan review.
Okay, I'll restate it then. Conservation Commission has no objections to the revised plan presented for 187 Hampstead Road, map 10, lot number 12.
All right, there's a first by Mr. Metz.
Second.
There's a second, first and second on the floor. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Abstentions? Unanimous. Motion carries. Thanks,
All right.
guys.
Thank you very much, folks.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
I'm going to give you these full set back. These are really, our land manager did such a great job on these. This will satisfy.
Yeah.
You can keep this? You don't need this, Bob?
Right here. Oh. Oh, for the next slide.
Okay, good work on that site plan review. Our next order of business is our iNaturalist training with Steven LaMonde from Moosewood Ecological, and I think Owen is getting him queued up.
Huh? No, it doesn't. Oh. Yeah, that's why I bought that. Somebody made this. It's nice. Yeah, it's got a little purse here. Put your credit cards. Yeah. That's a whistle. For what? When?
Well, maybe it's something that they're developing in this parking area.
Oh, no.
That's not this one.
Wish it was. Well, that's a safety whistle for me. Yeah, it is. In case you're out and about by yourself, it's very good.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
There he is.
There he is.
Who's that guy?
Hello, everyone.
Well, he was there.
We saw you for a second.
Testing, testing.
There you are.
Gotcha.
Hey, Steven.
Alrighty. Hey, everyone. I'm currently seeing two of myself, so let me make this a little less distracting. 1 second. Great. Good evening, all. Thank you so much for making time in your agenda for this evening's iNaturalist training. I imagine most of you all know at this point that we'll be hosting a BioBlitz at the Broadview Farm on June 27th, so just a couple weeks from now. So the goal for tonight is for me to share a presentation with you all about iNaturalist, why it's important, how we're using it for the BioBlitz, and giving you all a quick primer on how to use iNaturalist come BioBlitz Day, but also throughout the year. Does anyone have any questions before I dive in?
No.
Alrighty. I should be able to share my screen. Okay, can you all see this?
Yep.
Great. So tonight I'll be talking about iNaturalist primarily. I can't see you all at the moment, but for your own sake, quick show of hands, who here has heard of or used iNaturalist before?
3 hands.
All right, thank you. Great. So I'm really excited to be here tonight. And for the 3 of you who have used or heard of iNaturalist before, feel free to chip in with any follow-up questions over the course of this next month as we prepare for the BioBlitz. Okay, so I'm going to give you a broad sense of biodiversity. We think of it as all the species on Earth, but it's really more than that. It's all the genetic things that are present at that scale, in addition to species, as well as whole ecosystems. And so the town of Derry comprises of a lot of Appalachian oak forests, as well as some hemlock, hardwood, pine, lots of different kinds of wetlands and aquatic systems. And these all come together to form the foundation of the town's biodiversity. We value biodiversity for a lot of different reasons. We might not think of it on a day-to-day basis unless you're someone like me who's working in the environmental world all the time, but it maintains our air quality. It mitigates climate change hazards, helps control water runoff. We value it from a recreational standpoint. We depend on it for food, for clean water, and so much more. Sorry, is there a question?
Nope, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. And so there's all these benefits to it, and the Broadview Farm plays a large part of supporting the town's biodiversity. Unfortunately, we're in this environmental crisis where over the next century, 1 million species face the threat of extinction. And by hosting this BioBlitz at the Broadview Farm, we can better get a sense of which species are present in Derry and hopefully work to conserve them and preserve their presence on the landscape. But in order to do that, we need people to show up to the BioBlitz. We need the Conservation Commission to keep doing their good work and spreading the word about biodiversity and why it's important. So in order to do this, we need more people caring about nature and getting out to more places and finding more species. As we know it so far in New Hampshire, there's maybe 15,000 species of plants and wildlife that have been documented, but there's so much more out there that we just don't know. And so one of the great reasons to host a BioBlitz is to walk slowly, even through a familiar place, and to find new species that hadn't been previously known, either from that area, from the town, from the county, or even the state of New Hampshire. It's not uncommon that we find new species not previously known from New Hampshire during these kinds of events. So this is where iNaturalist comes in. It was founded in the mid-2000s, and it's one of the largest biodiversity databases out there. And it makes it really easy for average people to participate and share their observations of nature with others, with scientists, with conservationists, with researchers to better preserve and understand our biodiversity. So there's an app version, which is incredibly user-friendly, and it's free. They have it both for iOS and Android versions. There's also a website where you can dive into the data and explore it a bit more. But it's incredibly engaging. And all you need is a smartphone or an iPad or a camera where you can go out and take a picture of something you're seeing. You don't even have to know what it is. Submit it to the platform, and other iNaturalist users will come along and help validate, confirm, or correct the initial identification. And this platform is widely used by scientists. Over 1,000 academic papers were published using iNaturalist data in 2024 alone. And so we might not always know when our observations are used by others to promote conservation and biodiversity preservation, but it is, and it's really valuable. So here's how it works. If you want to take notes, feel free, but there's lots of great online training materials as well for you to brush up on your own time prior to the BioBlitz. And then I'll be there in person all day Saturday to answer any questions you may have in person. But ideally, you all will have some time to get out and practice prior to the event. So step one is to download the app, create an account, and log in, and then go out and take a photo. You can either take a photo through the app, or you could go through your phone's photo library and upload photos that you've already taken after the fact. This is one of the first things that I did when I learned about iNaturalist, as I went back through years of historic photos to figure out what I actually saw back in 2000 or 1995. And so if you're using a regular camera, similar, you just upload your photos through the website. And that's preferred for a lot of photographers who have nice cameras and like to take better pictures than a phone might. And then new, as of just a couple of years ago, you can also record sound. This makes it a lot easier to document birds as well as singing amphibians, where they might go quiet or fly away if you try to get close enough for a photo, especially with your phone. So once you've gathered that evidence of the organism, you then submit it through the app or the website. Through the newer version of the app, it has a built-in AI that goes through your image and accounts for the time of year and the location of the observation, and it gives top recommendations for what it is that you probably saw. If you agree with it, go ahead and click save. If you're not so sure, you could always identify it at a higher taxonomic level. So this white daisy tidy tips is a plant not found in our area. It's more in west, but we do have plenty of western honeybees pictured here on the left. And so if you're not sure, that's fine. Just add a comment like, oh, tentative ID, or not 100% sure about this, or this is what I suggested, I'm just going with it. That's all fine. The goal is to get the observation submitted with some sort of identification, and then others can come along and correct or verify. And then once it's been posted to iNaturalist, it's now publicly accessible, and others can view this for their research or conservation needs, and so on. All right, so I'm going to share with you a short 90-second video on some tips for how to make an observation. I will note that iNaturalist made this video using an older version of the app, but the concepts still apply. And so if you have downloaded the new version of the app, your screen may look a little different, but you'll still be able to follow the steps.
Okay, so you've installed the iNaturalist app and created an account. Time to get outside and record your first observation. Here's how to do it. Any living thing, like a plant, animal, or fungus, can be an observation on iNaturalist. Once you find something you'd like to record, just tap Observe and take a photo. You can review your picture, then hit Next if it looks good. To identify it, hit What did you see? If you have an internet connection, iNaturalist will suggest 10 visually similar species and often a common ancestor. You can choose one of those or search for a species name. On this observation details screen, you can add more photos of the same organism or write a note. The date, time, and location have been automatically added. You can also change the geoprivacy of the observation, mark whether it's captive or cultivated, or add it to a project. Once you're finished, just hit Share and your observation will be uploaded for everyone to see and identify. That's it. Keep on exploring and sharing.
Great, so here's a quick recap of that video. Install the app on your phone, and then go ahead and create a free account. You'll need a username, a password, and an email address. And then go outside or inside. Lots of spiders, or a couple spiders live in my basement, or the leaves in my gutter. That all counts as biodiversity. Just find a living organism or a sign of one. And so you might find maybe a deer antler or some deer scat that counts as well. It could be a bird feather that you found. That's fine too. iNaturalist is not a database for rocks or non-living things or fossils. So evidence of a living organism or an actual living organism that's been alive in recent history. Tap Observe to choose the observation type. So this is where you can choose between taking a photo through the app, choosing a photo from your phone's photo library, or going ahead and recording a sound through the app. And then take the photo, I just said those options, and then identify what you found to the best of your ability. So iNaturalist does have those built-in suggestions, but it is wrong occasionally. It's gotten much better over the years, but it still makes mistakes sometimes. And so for this picture on the bottom right, some of you may know this as American pokeweed. If you do, go ahead and submit as that. If you say, well, it's a plant, that's all I've got, plant is perfectly fine. As long as it gets the ball rolling and doesn't stay at the unknown level, that's the goal. The catch-all category, if you're really not sure, is life. You know, is it a fungus or some sort of slime mold? If you're not sure, just submit it as life, and that's good enough. And then go ahead and share your observation. One note I'll make on this is I'm not sure if the cell phone service at Broadview Farm is good or not, or if people are on a limited cellular data plan. You can upload your observations when you get home over a Wi-Fi connection. It doesn't have to be submitted right there, wherever you are. It'll be saved in the app, and then you can sync your observations when you have a better or stronger internet connection. This video offers some tips on how to take better photos so that whatever it is that you're seeing has a higher chance of getting identified. Great. And here's the recap. Not all of us are expert photographers. I'm far from that myself. I'll submit the occasional blurry photo on a given day. But overall, try to get close, but also be respectful of wildlife in particular. Our goal is not to harass wildlife just to get a photo. We need to be respectful of them and what they're trying to do. So get as close as you can reasonably. If it's a plant, certainly go right up to it. Just be mindful of thorns or poison ivy, something like that. Within the observation page on the app or the website, you can combine multiple photos into the same observation, and that's highly recommended so that anyone who's looking at your photo says, okay, here's a detailed view of the leaf, here's more of a backed up view of the bark or maybe the whole structure of a tree. And then try to make sure your photos are in focus as well. You know, blurry photos can be okay for certain things that are really recognizable, but when you can, make sure your photos are as detailed as possible. This can be really important for certain plants and insects where there's, small details and measurements that need to be made in order to identify something down to the species level. Pop quiz, does anyone know what this species here on the page is?
Milkweed? Is that milkweed? No?
It's a good guess, not milkweed.
Poplar?
Beech.
Yes, this is an American beech, rather healthy looking one, as you can see from the bark here. Yep, so all these three are the same species. Alrighty, let's see. Moving on to some other best practices that I've come up with over the years. Each observation should be of a single organism. So I did mention just a minute ago that you can combine multiple photos into one observation. That's recommended for photos of the same organism, the same tree, the same plant, the same butterfly. However, the tree, plant, and the butterfly should not be in the same observation. They should all be kept separate. And that can be an easy pitfall for first-time users. The focus of the BioBlitz will be all native species. You could also introduce species if they're growing naturally or in the wild. We want to try to avoid anything that's been planted, cultivated, or captive. So I think there may be some small gardens on the property, maybe some trees that have been planted over time, but most of the stuff we'll find should be wild growing. Otherwise, if it's not, we'll just mark it as cultivated, captive, and that'll help separate those observations out from our final tally. Again, to save on that cellular data, if it's limited at the farm or if anyone's on a limited data plan, I recommend uploading observations at home. Usually goes much quicker, a little less painstaking trying to do that out in the field. And then in the settings, you can turn off the automatic upload. Again, no need to memorize all of this. I'll be there in person for the BioBlitz. But if you do get out to practice beforehand, you might want to make a note. And then this record sound option that iNaturalist started using 3 or 4 years ago is excellent. We will be starting with a bird walk first thing for the BioBlitz. And so this will be a really great way to document a lot of the birds that we're seeing. And of course, multiple observations of the same species are encouraged. So what this means is if someone already documents, say, common milkweed during the BioBlitz, it's okay if another person documents another milkweed elsewhere in the property, or even that same exact milkweed plant. The goal not just is more than just finding as many species as possible. It's also to connect a bunch of people with nature, maybe to share some identification tips, and just have an enjoyable day. And so it's okay if we have duplicate observations from different observers. And another benefit to this is we can then more closely map the distribution of certain species on the property. Say there's an uncommon butterfly like the Baltimore checker spot, which is actually kind of common at Broadview Farm. Through iNaturalist and the BioBlitz, we can map its distribution throughout the property. Is it using certain fields more than others? Or maybe it's avoiding places closest to the road or the wetland edge. So we can start to get a better sense of how specific species are utilizing the property over time. And I already mentioned this, multiple people can document the same organism, that's fine. How scientists treat iNaturalist data, they account for this all the time. And so there's no problem with doing that. So a little bit more about iNaturalist. Over 4.2 million people around the world have shared observations to the platform, and it's growing rapidly. When I last did a similar presentation in November, I think it was well below 4 million at that time. And then there's the identification side of things. So if you think back to when we submit an observation to iNaturalist, another iNaturalist user will come along and verify or say, oh, actually, I think it's in this genus, and here's why. And 500,000 people have done that for other iNaturalist users. So they're a big, big part of the program and making what it is today. One of my favorite uses of iNaturalist is I can keep track of everything I've seen, both spatially as a map of where I've traveled, and a list of all the species that I've documented over time. And so it's fun because I won't necessarily remember everything that I've seen on all these trips, but through iNaturalist I can keep a digital diary of the biodiversity that I document. And so it's really easy to set that up for yourself or for a conservation commission as a group, or throughout the entire town. That's something that we've done for other conservation commissions. On the species side of things, you can filter observations both for your own records and for other iNaturalist projects. So here on the left, these are some of the most common, most frequently documented organisms that I've seen, and then plants are on the right. It's a good mix of New Hampshire species here. Not only can you explore your own personal data through iNaturalist, but you can explore everyone else's data. So this is a map of all the observations submitted to iNaturalist. It's heavily used in North America as well as Western Europe, but there are tons of observations from the Central Atlantic, the South Pacific, Antarctica even. And so iNaturalist is rapidly becoming the largest biodiversity database out there. It's certainly the widest used by scientists. And so this sort of shows the whole picture of what we're contributing to. It's not just a BioBlitz at Broadview Farm on June 27th in Derry, New Hampshire. We're contributing to a much bigger project where scientific and conservation discoveries are happening at a really rapid pace. So earlier, I guess it's now June, so in May, I set up this project on iNaturalist. It's for Broadview Farm Conservation Area specifically. This project will run in perpetuity as long as iNaturalist exists. So it's a running tally of all the observations submitted on the conservation area property. And so already you're up to 1,100 observations of 327 species. These are some observations made by an observer just 24 hours ago who was out documenting things on the property. You can also keep track of the most frequently observed species on the property. So Peck's skipper, smaller butterfly, is the #1 most observed species. If you couldn't guess, this is a really popular place for butterfly enthusiasts to go. There's a lot of great butterflies there, and a lot of people know it. Yep. So one of my goals for the BioBlitz is to say, okay, some people focus on the butterflies, but let's document more of the plants, some of the less appreciated insects. Certainly we'll be looking for slime molds and obscure things as well as common things as well, to really round out, are these the most common species at Broadview Farm? Or there seems like there's just a heavy focus on butterflies so far. So we'll be exploring that all day. And then you can also view a map for where across the property these observations have been made. Each point can be clicked on. You can look at the observation details. So this one was from yesterday, green cloverworm moth. They're flying right now. Pretty common in grassy areas. But I'm sure we'll find a lot more come June 27th. I will share a link with this, a link to the project with Beth, who can share it out to the entire Conservation Commission for you to explore prior to the BioBlitz. Okay, so we're going to be collecting a lot of data from Broadview Farm during the BioBlitz, but as I mentioned, this project will run in perpetuity. So what could you as a Conservation Commission do with it? Well, here are some options. You'll be able to get a sense for the species that are there and maybe elsewhere in Derry, which ones are locally common, uncommon, or even rare. You could even use the data to target invasive species for removal. So if that's of interest, you'll now have a map of where these species are located and what concentrations they are, so that it takes part of the planning. It's already been done for you. You say, okay, here's the Japanese knotweed. Let's tackle this in 2026, glossy buckthorn in 2027, and you'll have places ready to go. You can monitor climate-driven arrivals and departures. So in the 1970 Breeding Bird Atlas of New Hampshire, red-bellied woodpecker and Carolina wren weren't even mentioned. Yet now, for those of you who know your birds, they're everywhere, all the way up to the White Mountains. And so places like iNaturalist can help keep track and detect these early arrivals or potential departures of species. Maybe a certain violet or even a certain kind of moth maybe hasn't been seen in Derry in 30 years. Is it really gone? Or maybe no one's documented it. And so another great reason to host BioBlitz is to fill in those missing data gaps. And then, of course, yes, we love talking about the plants and animals, but as humans, it's always good to connect with others and share our passion for nature and really inspire a deeper connection. Once we know something and care about it, we're more likely to protect it. And so really working with spreading the word as much as we can to attract a large audience to the BioBlitz, and hopefully some kids will be there for the next generation. And then one of the cool features of working with iNaturalist data is you can create a local phenology calendar for when certain species can be observed. And so a lot of conservation commissions or land trusts or other groups have worked with their iNaturalist data to make calendars or kiosk info signs about when the milkweed flowers or when the azaleas bloom and what pollinators are visiting and how the shifts in flowering times can affect them. And so you can collect data specific to Broadview Farm or other places in Derry and then convert it into little informational signs or data to help other people understand the ecosystem at play. Alrighty, I think I'm doing okay on time. We'll have plenty of time for questions. So upcoming end of June is the Broadview Farm BioBlitz. This will be on Saturday. It'll be a 24-hour event. I'll be there from about 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. People are more than welcome to show up at midnight, bring some black lights or ultraviolet lights and look for moths, or get there right at sunrise around 5 a.m., 4:45, when the dawn chorus is really going to document more birds. And then after I leave, the event doesn't end until midnight on Saturday. And so folks are welcome to attend after I'll be gone if they're unable to be there during the day. So it will be a 24-hour event. We'll see how many species we can find. On a good day, this BioBlitz is really well timed for the end of June, which is almost peak biodiversity season here in southern New Hampshire. I expect we'll find between 300 and 600 species within that 24-hour period. Probably a bunch of species that have not been documented before in Derry, and maybe 1 to 5 species that haven't been seen before in New Hampshire and put on iNaturalist. So I've got high hopes for this event. Even if it rains, we're still looking at well over 200 species, depending on the plant diversity in particular. But I'm really, really excited for this event. So before the event, here's how you can help out. Advertise. The more people we have show up at any time on Saturday, the more eyes we have, the more people who can make observations. And certain people just gravitate towards different parts of nature. Some people like to look up at the sky. I myself might find myself crawling on my hands and knees in the middle of the BioBlitz. And so we'll have people sort of looking in all directions, different things catching their eyes, and documenting what we find. I'll be reaching out to some power users on iNaturalist who live in the area to make sure this is on their calendars for that event. So also I recommend creating your iNaturalist account ahead of time and practicing. Try to submit 5 or 10 observations beforehand, just to sort of smooth out the kinks. And if you're really having trouble, certainly arrive on Saturday when I'll be there, and I'm happy to help you in person. So with that, I'd like to break for questions.
I had one that just popped up at the end. You said power users in the area. So is that something you're able to see, like an account with like hundreds of observations, like people who are really already active and connected to natural communities in these areas? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. And so what you could do in iNaturalist, and what I'll be doing, is I can go to the Explore page, looking at the town of Derry, or maybe more broadly Rockingham County, and seeing who are the top iNaturalist observers in the area. Maybe they have 1,000 observations or 10,000 observations already submitted. And I'll send them a little message and say, hey, if you're free this weekend, we'd love to have you here and help out with your expertise to help us find more species.
Oh, that's awesome. That would be really helpful. Yeah.
Another question, just in regards to your hopes for identifying species and stuff, is that going to be included again or compared against the number with the observations that are already there? Because it said like 1,000 current observations, this many species, and this many observers on that area. Is that something we're going to be comparing with, or are you just hoping to like include that, you know, like species already observed, and like you said, re-observing them is okay?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so once the observations are submitted to our naturalist, I'll apply a filter for just the observations seen on Saturday. And that'll give us a tally of everything documented during the BioBlitz, and we can directly compare that to everything seen prior to the BioBlitz. And then we can also view everything all together. And so the project that I've set up will update in real time as observations are submitted, and that'll give you the running tally for the property. And then I'll be able to filter it for just the BioBlitz day. How did we do? And the plan is to write, a little half-page write-up with some highlights to share with you that you can then post to social media or use for outreach, and go from there.
Nice.
I actually have two questions. I haven't used it before. I just signed on now. So the first one is, and so in terms of like the database, is it similar to social media that it's like grouped by species or by areas, states? So in other words, if like I went tonight on the way home and submitted something, or if I traveled somewhere else, like across the country, like I would have my own account very similar to that, and that would be, how would they be grouped? Would they be grouped by species, by areas, so if I was interested in, say, cross-referencing a species, like how would I look that up?
That's a good question. And if I don't answer it, feel free to ask it again. Okay. When you submit an observation to our naturalist, you can access it in a lot of different ways. And so if you're looking at just your personal data, you'll be able to see all your species. You could also click on an observation and look at a map for where that species has been seen elsewhere throughout the world. And so all the species, as well as other taxa, so you could look at genus, family, order, class, kingdom levels, and see a map of observations. You could read more about each taxonomic level to get some fun facts. And on iNaturalist, each profile page for genus, species, etc., has links to other resources online. And so the app is really an entry point to iNaturalist where you can submit data, kind of peruse your own observations easily. But the real magic of iNaturalist, from my opinion, is using the website and exploring the data in all these different facets. And so you can group things in endless ways, which doesn't really answer your question, but anything's possible.
Okay, I think I understand. And then the second is, does it identify via video? So if you have like, say, if you have like a camera on your property and animal comes by, does video that you may have in your photos or in your own phone app, would that be usable, or does it need to be still photo?
Great question. It does not accept video. However, it will accept a GIF photo, a GIF. And so there are free online programs where you can convert a video to a GIF and then upload that. And so it still looks like a video when you submit it to a naturalist, but it's a different format. I've never done it, but lots of people have. So that is an option. When I put out trail cameras for work or for pleasure, I usually have most of them set to photo, just so I can upload them to our naturalist really easily. But the videos are so compelling that I always have some of those out as well.
Okay, thank you.
Just something that was thought of over here is, we're using this for specifically Broadview, this BioBlitz and stuff, but of course, this is going to be something that hopefully our community will jump on for other properties, and we might want to do this at other properties as well. We do allow, this might be maybe not connected, but we do allow hunting on some of our properties. And so maybe then bringing up some concerns about tracking the species, seasonal hunting species that might be in those areas. Has that ever raised any concern at all?
Absolutely. And so, yes, that can be a concern, not only just for species that might be hunted, but also for rare and threatened species, particularly turtles or snakes or things that might get poached. Right. And so in that 90-second video that I shared, it went over it really quickly, but there's a geo-privacy option where you can, it's open by default, which means others can see the specific location for the observation, but you can change it to obscured. And that essentially hides the true coordinates of the observation from everyone but yourself, unless you give another user specific permission to look at the true coordinates for that observation. And so the obscured observations are hidden within, I think, a 20 kilometer by 40 kilometer box. It's a pretty big area, so it's very difficult to tell where that observation was actually made, but it doesn't quite obscure it to the fact where we don't know where in the world this photo was taken, which would be if you change the privacy settings to private, which hides the location entirely. That makes it really hard for anyone to identify what it is that you saw, because something in Africa might look really similar to something that's growing here, and there'd be no way to tell without a hint of the geography. And so for anything that you might be concerned about, or if you're observing around your house and you don't necessarily want to share your house location on iNaturalist, you can obscure those observations. Personally, I don't care if people know where I submit iNaturalist observations from, so most of my stuff is open unless it's something rare or endangered that might be poached. So I do obscure those, and you could do the same thing for species that might be hunted that you don't want any hunters getting wind of.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Can I ask, if you don't know if a species is rare, right? And you don't really know what it is there a way to go back and if it's identified by, the other professionals on the site as something rare, can you go back and obscure it after you've already submitted?
Yes, absolutely. So anything that you submit, you can always go back, delete, edit, change the parameters. It's all accessible to you, the person who submitted it. For really rare stuff, it's obscured by default. So say you saw a Blanding's turtle, which is state endangered, but you didn't know it was a Blanding's turtle. You would submit it and it'd be automatically obscured, which is excellent. That's not necessarily true for rare sedges or kind of obscure plants like that, because they're not necessarily poached or sold on the market for $1,000 a sedge. And so, if you still wanted to obscure that rare observation, you could, once an identification came in and someone said, oh, hey, this is really uncommon, then you could choose if you want to obscure it or not.
You guys are doing great.
These are really excellent questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Nothing now. Probably day of. We'll see.
Yeah.
Great.
Steve,
Beth has my contact info.
You have a wrap-up presentation? Or are we done?
No, we're ready to go for the BioBlitz. Just get out there and practice if you have time.
Right.
Okay, great. All right, thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Steve. That was great. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you all. Have a good night.
You too.
Nice job.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it's cool. I didn't know it was going to be at night. That's neat. That's cool. I didn't know it was going to be at nighttime.
24 hours.
Yeah, wow.
That's cool.
That is
The
cool.
event at where Steven is there and we'll have a tent up, etc. Right, will be from 8 to 4.
Yeah,
but
you won't be
people
there
are
midnight?
but people
can
are
be up to
encouraged
5
to
a.m.
come for
if
the
you
24
want.
hours. Yeah.
Very cool.
Can you apply to camp?
Okay, we are moving right along. Community garden, Jay has, I think, Jay couldn't be here, but I think Beth,
I
Beth's
can
going to
give that
chime in for him.
report.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, the community garden is in full swing. Every plot has been used and is being tended, and we had the opening day was May 9th, and there were 17 people in attendance. Yeah, we had quite a few community gardeners come out who wanted to lend a hand with staking, and Linda brought her delicious baked goods. And it was a great time. It was raining the entire time, but we powered through, and it was great. Jay did have some photos that he shared on the Facebook page for that, on the Facebook group, so I'd encourage you to look at some of the photos or stop by. And he got the results of some soil testing back that I think he'll share with you at the next meeting that he's able to be at. That's all for the community garden.
And do you want to talk about Tammy briefly? Yeah. Personnel.
I know very little, but
You know as much as I know.
assuming Tammy's not here tonight, our last meeting, they were traveling. She was indisposed with her husband, and he had a medical emergency. So I'm assuming if she's not here tonight. So Tammy, if you listen, hopefully everything's better, and we'll see you soon. And unfortunately, I discovered I had one job from the last meeting, and I didn't do it. I will have information on Beth and Tammy's reviews when they should be done. I have a note to call Catherine first thing in the morning in HR, and we'll get those scheduled within the next month. Again, I apologize for that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Metz. Before we do Eileen's committee, have we finished up the new name for it yet?
Yep. So
So you want to announce what the new name for Eileen's committee is?
So we're going to go with the Environmental Policy and Training Committee.
All right, so moving forward, Eileen is going to be chairing the Environmental Policy and Information Committee instead of State
Training
Compliance.
committee, yeah.
All right, what do you got, Eileen?
Okay. I did mention a few of these last meeting, but this is a refresher for people that didn't perhaps attend last meeting. On June 6th, there's a Wetlands ID workshop that NHACC is putting on. It's going to be from 9 to 12 at Bow High School, which is Falcon Way in Bow, New Hampshire. You can register on the nhacc.org website. On June 12th, there is also an NHACC conservation easement training, and that's going to be held at the Sanborn Mills Farm in Loudon, New Hampshire. It's essentially a free training from 10 to 4, but they would love it if you wouldn't mind donating either $10, $20, or $30 towards, the workshop. On June 19th, there's going to be excellent trail maintenance and design workshop at the Appalachian Mountain Club's Camp Dodge, which is in Gorham, New Hampshire. And you can sign up for that on the nhacc.org website. On June 13th, there's going to be a New Hampshire Audubon outing at Broadview Farm. And that's from 8 to 10 a.m. It's a free event. The leader is Joe Mahoney. And you can register for that on the New Hampshire Audubon website. And that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you, Eileen.
Yep.
Property management's quiet, right? Nothing going on? Am I missing anything?
We have that encroachment, but I can cover that in my,
Okay, yeah, so we have the encroachment at Doolittle. Is that Doolittle?
Broadview.
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 That we're working on, and Beth will share that during her report. And Mr. Spoerl, anything on land maintenance, other than all the
I'll
inquiries
leave
about?
that to Beth.
We have a lot of inquiries about
Stuff.
visually challenged people visiting.
Yes.
Yeah, visiting Ballard Forest that we've.
Yeah, Ballard State Park. I think
Well,
3
yeah.
different individuals reached out about having trail accessibility for visually impaired people, and we've sent them to, or we've let them know the appropriate parties to contact, because Derry Conservation Commission does not manage Ballard State Forest. That's a state property. So the Urban Forestry Center is who deals with that. So we've sent them over to the Urban Forestry Center with those inquiries.
But it did kind of trigger a conversation with Beth and I regarding, at some point, as we kind of relabel our conservation properties, trying to identify at least some properties that are more appropriate for people that have physical challenges. And maybe even have like a rating system of some sort, saying like, kind of like, I think about like skiing, like, so you have like a black diamond chip trail for advanced skiers.
Right.
So, and we were talking about Shepherd earlier, and how Shepherd's kind of a pretty easy
That might be a good
property.
one, yeah.
Because that's kind of flat. It's got a little incline in the back when it goes up to the upper field, where like Cornelius is a pretty challenging property, and so is Ball. So maybe have some sort of grading system that we can put on our properties that people will be able to use that maybe aren't that have some challenges
It's a
getting
great
around.
idea.
Yeah. So
Mr. Chair, I think when we started talking about trails 8 or 9 months ago, Bob, you mentioned the state has trail ratings. Am I correct or incorrect about that?
There's, well, coming down through Forest Service and everybody else, there is a company that has a system that everybody really likes, and that's basically what it is. Instead of us saying, well, it's a black diamond, what you would say is, there's this kind of slope, the width of the trail, et cetera, and it's up to you to know what your capabilities are. So instead of us saying, well, it's probably too rough for you, it's like, here's what you're going to encounter. And then if they feel they can do it, they can go out and enjoy it.
Pass at your own risk, is that?
Is there like a label of like, this is moderately challenging or anything like that?
Not really. It's
Like it's
all
easy.
pre-done on the sign.
Oh,
There's
okay.
like 6 parameters that are
Spelled out?
predetermined, and you just read them and know whether you can access it or not.
Okay.
I think I want to be a little more definitive on our stuff, though. I mean, I get that, and they're kind of hedging, I think, to not.
The
Yeah,
company
they-
name is Beneficial Designs, and they make a machine that you can walk along, and it's tied to a computer. It does all the measurements for you, and then plots it out, but it gives you, in the end, that sign, basically. It's a really cool company, great stuff. I don't believe anybody here in New Hampshire has done it. I saw it in practice out in Arizona. They were doing a desert trail. That one was actually for visually impaired, and the whole trail had a rope alongside the side, and you go along, and on the rope there'd be a knot, and then you knew that you could reach out. The sign was there that was both regular text and
Wow.
braille
That's cool.
that they could feel.
awesome.
So, yeah, it was a pretty cool design.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think, we're just starting the conversation. I think it can be one of our goals, as we set goals, at least identify a trail, a conservation property that might be more friendly to people that have those challenges. Okay, we're moving right along, and we have land acquisition. We're going to have a discussion about that this evening. We have a PowerPoint presentation, and we're going to invite Owen to join us in a non-public to talk about the properties that we're considering. Other thing we're doing is, I mentioned earlier, we're developing that form letter as a solicitation to people that own property in town that may be that unaware of the benefits of preserving property and working with conservation. And we're going to follow that up with a public media campaign through social media and through Derry TV. Just a brief excerpt. We were talking about the Shepherd property in our pre-meeting. Something that looks like, did you know that a picture of the Shepherd property, maybe the Shepherd field, and it would say something like, did you know that the Shepherd property was donated to the town by the Shepherd family and whenever it was done, and just talk about a real brief, what some of the benefits of doing that for the town is, and then inviting people to reach out to the Conservation Commission email address, to move that forward. So we're working on all that stuff. And then, like I said, Mr. Metz and I are working on the form letter. As it gets a little bit tighter, we'll share it with the whole commission and get thoughts and feedback on it. Next we have Ms. Val, reporting compliance.
Ring compliance, right. Sorry, I had something ready to Okay, reporting compliance. So we had Sam from CELT reach out to us about monitoring the Doolittle property. For those unfamiliar, that's accessed off of Faith Drive. It's roughly a 94-acre property with some frontage on Manterbrook. Manterbrook primarily feeds in a lot of water into Beaver Lake. It was named after Albert Doolittle, who was a commissioner for 22 years. But yeah, so that property is in need of monitoring. CELT is in charge of that. It was supposed to be done on May 20th. However, Sam did have to push it out. I'm planning on being there in attendance for this upcoming Wednesday is when we had possibly sent it out for. Yeah, and I sent that over to the rest of the the committee too, that way they can stay in the loop. And that's all for reporting compliance.
Thank you, Val. And you have net zero also.
Yeah, so going into the Net Zero Task Force, they're still going on looking for a community power provider. They're working with Mike Fowler for a request for proposal for the supplier for that. The Net Zero Task Force still does have their recommendation, but they do have to go through the RFP process. Another thing they're working toward is the hybridization of municipal fleet. We had 10 hybrid patrol cars become functional a few weeks ago. The task force is going to be waiting about 2 to 3 months to be taking data from the computers in those vehicles to determine their efficiency and the savings for the town. And then we also just had some brief discussions, getting some of their input from the CWPP, especially as it's coming to a close, making sure nothing's missing, crossing T's, dotting I's. And they're continuing to keep an eye on legislation as some of the building codes and IECC things have continued to be tabled and pushed along. And that's all for Net Zero Task Force.
Thank you, Val. We skipped over Cheryl.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, my fault.
I just
did.
plowed through.
No,
Okay.
I'm taking the rap for it. For public outreach, Cheryl.
Yeah,
Sorry.
great. So it was actually very busy, a couple of weeks. Eileen and Beth were at What's the Scoop at the Marion Garish and talking up the BioBlitz, and there's really been a lot of good buzz about that. Also on Facebook, we've actually grown quite a bit. We've at least doubled since we started putting more effort into that. The amount of followers on Facebook, and there's been some wonderful, engaging posts, mostly by Beth and Linda, with all kinds of very interesting content there, and including tonight's iNaturalist training that was posted as well. 2 dates, if you'd like to put on your calendar, I think they're really going to be a lot of fun, is that we are confirmed for a table at the Dairy Farmers Market, Dairy Homegrown, it's a Wednesday, August 12th. I plan on being there. I'm not going to be bringing my baked goods that week, but I will be at the table, and we'll have some interesting things going on. We'll meet as a committee beforehand and plan all of that. And we are also confirmed for Dairy Fest, which is September 19th from 10 to 4. So, and we can certainly use volunteers in the commission. It'll be really a lot of fun. And again, those dates are Wednesday, August 12th. That's 3 to 7, the market time. And Dairy Fest, we will be there September 19th from 10 to 4.
Awesome. Are you passing out like referential like materials, some of the things that we've been doing and stuff? Like what kind of help are you looking for those events?
Well, to be a presence, at the table. And Beth's been wonderful working with and designing materials to pass out and kind of answer questions that there might be. I think the dairy farmers market will be a little different. That could be something that could have some engaging, like identifying plants or things for like children. So any suggestions you have that you want to email about that ahead of time, that would give us time to, gather what we need. And certainly if you have an interest in that, engaging in that, that would be great.
Yeah, thank you.
Beth, do you want to do like a sign-up sheet for both of those events? Send it out to the commissioners and try to get some commitments for times and stuff like that? Because that's a long, Dairy Fest's like an 8-hour day, so maybe split the work up a little bit. We always did it
Different kinds of shifts.
kind of 2-hour shifts and stuff like that.
Okay.
TRCs.
TRCs. Where did I skip everything?
Yep.
I need a new optometrist.
Oh, yeah. I only had...
You know one?
No.
I don't either.
He's cute, but he's not good.
Thanks.
I only had one TRC since our last meeting. It was this past Friday. It concerned some lot line adjustments up at Denali Estates, so it was already an approved plan. As one of the people said, it's just messing with lines. So that was all that was all for that one. Didn't have any other input. There are 2 more coming up next 2 consecutive Fridays. One is a 2-lot subdivision, and I can't remember what the next one is, but I'll make sure I come and look at the plans and let you folks know if they have to come. Denali had already been here because it's phase 4. They are starting phase 5 and 6, so they'll be before us in the next few months, and that's where the bulk of our cash money has come from, because a lot of that land up there was in current use. So as they develop those pieces of property, the current use money gets paid to us.
Yeah, every time they sell a lot or a home there, we get a check.
Which is kind of nice. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Okay, Beth, we have you, land manager report.
All right, I'm over here because I just have some visuals for you all that I'll refer to when we need to. But the first thing is a couple of votes. So one is you all need to vote on paying Noah $450 for tilling the community garden this year. He also helped us move a lot of the manure over there and like spread that out, so that was very helpful.
So we'll take those up as they, might as well just take them up as
Do
you
we
go.
have an invoice for that, Beth?
Say that again?
Do we have an invoice yet from Noah for that?
That's a good question.
Because we're going to pay him, we need it, we need that.
Yes, I believe if we don't have an invoice, I can get one from him.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Can I get his last
We need
name?
to vote for it.
Yeah.
Oh, Noah's last name?
Noah's last name. I don't know Noah's last name. It's Noah's Tractor Service.
I don't want to pay any,
Yeah.
I want to pay the right Noah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Noah's Tractor
you don't want someone
Service
building a boat, right?
LLC is the business name.
So Noah's Tractor Service,
Noah's
Mr.
Tractor
Metz.
Service,
Yeah.
okay.
All right, so we'll take them as they go, as they come.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Okay.
All right. So I move to approve paying Noah's Tractor Service $450 for tilling, funds to be taken out of the preservation account.
So we have a
Second.
first by Mr. Metz. We have a second by Cheryl. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That motion carries unanimously. And you're going to get Eileen an invoice for that, please? Yes. Okay.
And then we have, so there's a $13,000 account for stewardship of the Corneliuson property that we did some digging to find out what we're able to use those funds for. So some earlier funds that you've already voted on and have already been taken care of, but I spoke with Mark Fleischer in the finance department about how we can have the tree felling that we had at Corneliuson and the expense for conservation grass seed mix that we had spread at Corneliuson can be, we can use that account for those. So he just needs a vote on the record that you all would like to use those funds to cover those expenses.
And Mr. Metz, before you do that, just so people understand what that is, so we have a specific $13,000 pot of money that was allocated when we got the Corneliuson property that can only be used for the maintenance of that Corneliuson property. So it's important for us to spend that money when we're using that, because we don't do a lot of expending, and it was because of Beth that we found out in our new meetings with the town finance folks. We're discovering stuff as we go, and this is one of those discoveries. So we're going to reallocate. The funds have already been approved. We just need to reallocate that those funds are going to be allocated to that Corneliuson account.
Right.
And those minutes.
So those bills have already been, like when you gave them to me, I processed them and sent them in to the town, so they're already in.
Yep.
Where were those funds taken from originally? Because what we're doing is voting a transfer $1,460 from the Corneliuson Fund to as a reimbursement.
Right, so it's...
I have to look up what we originally said we were going to take them out of. I don't.
Mark doesn't need that, but...
Doesn't?
No.
Okay.
What Mark needs is minutes saying that we were allocating the $1,460 that we already spent, and we want those funds to be allocated to the Corneliuson maintenance account. We need a motion that sounds like that.
Okay, I move to approve taking $1,300 for tree felling and $160 for conservation grass seed for those things done at the Corneliuson farm out of the Corneliuson stewardship account.
Previously dispersed funds, Mr. Metz?
Yep, previously
What
dispersed
was the
funds.
amount for the grass seed again?
$160 for the grass seed.
Okay.
So there's a motion on the floor as an accounting change to allocate those funds previously dispersed to the Corneliuson Maintenance Fund. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's a first by Mr. Metz, a second by Commissioner Val. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Beth. Can you continue?
Great. And then just an update on the CWPP. So since our last meeting, that first draft was completed by the core team, and it's currently being reviewed by the fire chief. And when he is done reviewing it, it's going to move on to the next step of review by other officials in town. Mike, so through working with John Neely for the CWPP, he put us in touch with Mike Gagnon at the UNH Extension. And he is a forester who has offered to attend a future meeting to discuss the process of creating a forest management plan with us, because we don't currently have a forest management plan in place for there was the process started of putting together a forest management plan for a number of our properties. But he said that he can come do that if we decide to do that at a future meeting. He can't create the forest management plan for us, but he can help guide us through the process of that. So he reached out to us. And then for the Bio Blitz, so we have 6 individuals signed up so far for 13 sessions, because there's 4 sessions throughout the day. So 6 individuals have already signed up. And if I press this button, I think. Yay. Okay, great. Oh no. Okay, hang on. There we go. Okay. So I just wanted to bring up this QR code so that anybody watching at home can sign up via the QR code there for the BioBlitz. So that is where you would sign up. We also have posters printed for that, and I have a list of places that have bulletin boards, like places around town that allow you to hang posters either in their windows or on bulletin boards. So just see me after the meeting to grab some posters and sign your name on that so that we don't have overlap, people going to the same place. And then we also heard from Matt Tarr from UNH Extension. Barbara from NHACC put us in touch with him, and he would like to lead a walk at Broadview on September 18th at 4 p.m. That would be a follow-up to the BioBlitz. We, in discussing in the Land Maintenance Committee earlier this year, one of the volunteers, Karen, who volunteered on that committee, not as a commissioner, but just as a volunteer, mentioned that September is a really good time to visit Broadview and see the flowers in bloom and things of kind, the foliage is a really beautiful color at that point. So we're planning a walk at Broadview September 18th at 4 p.m.
Is that a Friday, Beth? That's a Friday.
That is, I believe, a Friday, yes. Mm-hmm. And then also with Broadview, so I'll bring my second visual up here. So we have this is the, oops, sorry, let me just bring it up again. second reason why I'm up here instead of over there tonight.
How long do you want for?
Okay. All right, so we have a few no trespassing signs that were brought to the attention by a resident, were brought to our attention by a former commissioner, actually. And the red dots are where the no trespassing signs were found on Broadview. This is a map of Broadview.
Huh.
And we after speaking with Bob about this, as far as what to do about the no trespassing signs, you know, since we've seen that at least these 4 here are well within the bounds of the property, we should be able to remove them, and we can keep them in case the owner of them comes looking for them. But we have sent out 2 communications so far to the owner of this property right here that is privately owned property with a conservation easement on it. And his name was on the no trespassing signs here, Paul Zarba. So you all just need to vote to have me take the signs down. We would keep this one and this one. We would not remove these 2 since they are right on the boundary line. But this boundary here is actually a stone wall. So it's very clear where the boundary is, and it's very clear that these no trespassing signs are well within the bounds of the town-owned property.
So just as a heads up, this isn't the first time we've had this issue on that property.
Yep.
So the motion would sound something like authorizing the land manager to remove the signs that are not on the boundary lines, but inside the property, and to preserve those signs for 6 months, something like that.
Can I just ask a question? I was just clarification, is that an abutter that is putting up no trespassing signs, but it's actually on the conservation property?
So it's allegedly the abutter.
Okay,
we don't know
but
for
sometimes
sure.
these signs appear in places and we don't exactly know, but, and the purpose being that sort of claiming it for a different, just a little confused.
So, and just to clarify, because on no trespassing signs, you have to have a name and address on the sign. I don't believe that there's an address, but there is the name, Paul Zarba, is on that, and that is the owner of this property here.
Okay, thank you.
It doesn't mean that Paul Zabra put his name on that sign and put the sign up.
Sure.
But someone put up a sign that says Paul Zabra on a tree.
Yeah, and also I feel like important context is there's the trail that comes up. It's a really narrow, isn't it? Just the trail that exists there for access. So it's like basically just the trail to get in, get to Broadview, and then you're in Broadview, but the signs along the trail against that abutter's property.
That was an easement that was granted to us a long time ago by Mr. Zaba.
Yeah, by Mrs. Zarba.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
So people should be allowed to walk in there, just that narrow path. And
Yeah, so again, we're not proposing to remove this no trespassing sign or this one, because neither of them seem to be, like, they're placed in such a way that, you know, it's not trying to keep people out from accessing that trail or getting
'cause that's
into
very
Broadview.
important.
It's placed in a way that's trying to prevent people from going from the trail here into the field. Right, so as you're walking along, the no trespassing sign is facing into Broadview to try to stop people from going over the line
into the field, but it's not necessarily like discouraging people from coming into Broadview.
Exactly.
Might wanna
Okay, the
use
way
that
it's
trail in.
positioned.
Correct.
Right.
It's not sort of an ominous, like,
No.
okay.
Because that's
Nope.
really important.
So,
Yeah.
so we already have sent letters, one letter or two letters?
2 letters, yep.
Okay. Alerting him to the fact that we don't believe they're on the property line.
Yep.
Yeah.
With
When they're removed, I would ask him if he wants the signs back.
okay, so send another letter asking if he would like them back.
And say we will hold them for a period of 6
Right.
months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so with all this information, I'd like to make a motion then to authorize Beth, the land manager, to remove those 4 signs that we have identified within the boundary lines of the property and to take, did I just reverse that?
No, you did good. Keep going.
Oh, okay. I thought I just said the signs in reverse. I authorize the land manager to remove the 2 unauthorized.
4.
Fudge. I had it right the first time. To remove the 4 unauthorized signs, no trespassing signs that are within the boundaries of the property. Sending a notification letter to the possible abutter who may have put the signs up that we would hold the signs for a period of 6 months for them to retrieve them.
That's a great motion.
Sorry.
Great job, Val.
I shouldn't have second guessed myself.
Second that one.
I think we might even want a third on that one. That's
I'll second
roll
the first
call.
half.
That's a good motion. All right, so we have a first by Commissioner Val, a second by Commissioner Cheryl. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, unanimous. Nice work. What else you got? What else you got, Beth?
All right, great. So then we have, find my mouse here. The Margaret Ives Conservation Land. So the sign there at the trailhead was leaning, and we reached out to DPW, and they very kindly straightened it out for us, and they also freshened up the white paint that was making the letters. And so I will,
Yeah, I was there recently and it looks good. I can vouch for that.
and I'll just bring up a visual since I'm here of that. Yeah, so that's just a photo of the trailhead that is currently in place, and that was the post that Linda made tonight about our meeting. And my next visual is I reached out to 3 different Boy Scout troops in asking if there are any Eagle Scouts or, Eagle Scout hopefuls who would like to assist us with creating a new trailhead kiosk, since this one, as you can see, is kind of in rough shape.
Yeah.
And I sent along this publication to them just to give them an idea of what we're looking for. So if you all have a preference of the type of kiosk, right? So here's one that has a cover, and then they have other, and this is, I think, 2010 money.
So twice that.
Yeah.
Fix that.
But just to give you an idea, I know that they usually help with fundraising for these things.
They
But
sometimes
just to
get
give you an
materials
idea.
donated too, so.
Yeah.
So they have the 2 designs, one with, that has a cover, a roof on it, and then another that is more, so like this. I wish
That's
I
like
could
what's
turn
there.
it.
Yep.
But yeah, so very similar to what's there, that doesn't have a roof or really like a, it would just have the name of the land without really much room for, for placing information and whatnot. So if you all have any feedback on that, as far as what you would like to communicate to them as far as like what kind of trailhead we would like, then you can send that along.
Let's, why don't we wait for a reply from them?
Sure.
And then we'll take that up at the next meeting. I like the ones with the roofs on them. I feel like we should probably
Like Broadview,
Look a little
yeah.
better.
I agree.
go with those moving forward.
Hope I didn't mess anything up. Okay, it's coming back, I think.
Owen's coming.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so last little bit is some correspondence. We got a woman who reached out asking if it would be possible to have a sign put up on Hampstead Road, warning of turtles crossing. So right where Cunningham Brook crosses over Hampstead Road, she said that she's observed some turtles being run over by vehicles and, just reached out saying, what can we do if there's anything that we can do about that? So.
And she helped one.
And she helped one cross the
And she
road,
helped one
yes.
cross the road.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she stopped and helped.
Yeah.
Which is, you know what? You're not supposed to touch wildlife, but in like that case, if there's a turtle on the road,
Right.
help it, or at least stop your car and let it get across before someone
But
else.
always help the turtle go in the direction it's wanting to go. Like if you find it in the middle of the road and it's heading this way,
Yeah, send them that
put
way.
it over on that side, don't take it back to the other side, because it's very important, because turtles have a pattern every year that they follow, going back to where they were originally born, in fact, so.
Beth, I think you crashed the entire.
I know, I'm so
you
sorry.
better-
I just unplugged it. I'm like, oh,
Crash
man, that-
Derry Municipal Center mainframe.
I thought I had it down at this point. I'm like, okay, plug it in, push the button. I got this. I got it.
The whole mainframe's down for the state, I think.
On a lighter note, Beth, if we put crossing signs up, can we get the turtles to use the flashers? Yeah. The humans definitely don't,
I know, right?
okay?
This was a funny discussion. So this came through my email. I sent it to Beth, and I'm like, I don't even know where to begin. Where do you get, first of all, where do you get turtle crossing signs? Second, who
I've
puts
seen
them up? I've seen them too, but who puts them up, the town or the state? So I'm
Yeah, so-
curious to hear what you found out.
Well, we have, I haven't found out much besides the name and number of the person who does know. So we're waiting to hear back
Waiting
from
to hear
that
back.
person. But at least we are in touch with the right person who deals with that kind of stuff. And when I did reach out to New Hampshire DOT was the entity to reach out to, and they knew exactly where to send me to him. So it sounds like this is not, a question that nobody knows the answer to. Like this is,
they do.
they know what
They know
to
the
do.
answer.
Yeah.
It
And I
seems to
think-
me from a public outreach standpoint, like you could really kind of talk up turtles. Like at Dairy Farmers Market, at these two events we're talking about, at Dairy Fest, like, I don't know, like redesign, put a turtle on a t-shirt, have some kind of turtle activity thing, and appeal to like kids with turtles. It's a really popular subject, and just kind of raise turtle awareness. So at the very least, if like this word of mouth, people are a little more aware, and if they see a turtle, because it may just be something that's not on people's radars, but it's a really fun and accessible creature to raise awareness generally. So that may be something we can discuss.
And there is
that
a
could
New
be, that could
Hampshire
be really
Turtle
fun.
Rescue Organization.
Yeah.
I got a newsletter from them the other day, so
So did I.
that's important to share.
Yeah, like little turtle tchotchkes at the farmer's market. Really, I mean, and then they get around and people know what they are. And then we hide them in places and we put them on Facebook. And it would just be a fun, like a little campaign there that can just by word of mouth raise awareness and could make a difference.
Yep.
And I'm sure there's other places that we could identify that probably need a similar sign. So this is a good road to go down.
Yeah, definitely. And the last thing is that there was a GIS tools for identifying wetlands training. And I do have a link to the recording for that and the passcode to it. So if anybody would like to watch it, just reach out to me and I can send you the link and the passcode. That is all.
Okay, any questions for Beth? How about a round of applause for Beth?
I know, right?
Nice work, Beth. I think there's a mistake here. Are we not meeting June 15th? I feel like we're not.
I don't think we are. We are?
Yes, we are.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
We are?
I know, I thought that was.
I thought we had one meeting in June, but I might be wrong.
Yes.
Oh,
Because I can't do the 15th, and I thought you couldn't either. Is that true?
No, that was May. So May 18th, we didn't have a meeting, and that was because neither of you could do it.
Right.
And I do remember thinking when we scheduled 2 meetings in June, are we only supposed to have one in June, and brought it up, and confirmed that there are supposed to be 2 meetings
Supposed to be
in
2?
June.
Yeah. I think July and August are the only ones we do
Yes.
one.
Wait, can we
So I
confirm
can't
those
do
dates
the-
while we're here?
I can't do the 13th one is if necessary. So we're only going to meet on July 13th.
Oh, really? Okay.
So wait,
if
not the
necessary.
If we
6th.
have a site plan review.
Right.
Or we have business necessary that we have to meet.
So
But we're
no
not going to
meeting in
meet June 15th?
The June 15th thing we have to decide tonight. I am not available June 15th.
I am available.
So if Mr. Metz wants to have a meeting, we can keep it on the agenda. And it sounds like he's available, so we're going to keep it on the agenda. All right, so June 15th is a yes with Metz. Beth, we do not have a Owen meeting that night, right?
Correct.
We do have an Owen meeting on July 13th, if we're going to have the meeting, though. Okay, got it. All right, so you guys can decide that on the 15th. I might be available via Zoom on the 15th, so I'll try to attend via Zoom. As a commissioner, though, not as the chair.
So I had some stuff with the mission and like guide handbook project, and I was actively before this meeting crafting an email to send to everyone for the materials. Should I hold on those until after those?
No, let's bring that up on other business. Let's bring it up now in a second.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to whittle down on the meetings. So everyone has those meetings. The 13th is if necessary, and then the rest of them are I want everybody to kind of get them in their calendar because we only have one meeting, and I want to make sure we have people here. So get those meetings in your calendar, please. And then for other business, we will start with Val.
Okay, right now. Okay, 1 second. Let me open it. I wasn't ready for this. I'd had a document with some questions and things, kind of just to get some discussion started. I know that I've met with some people individually in the past just to kind of get to know you, your background, and some things that kind of pulled you to this line of work. But in the sense of really refining or drafting and refining and kind of going through these mission statement, that's something that should be collaborative. So I wanted to make sure that whatever I was doing wasn't just a one-sided thing. this is something that we should all have part in defining, as it's something that we all are striving toward. I have this document. I can't like put it up on the screen or anything. I have some drafts here, and then I can send it out otherwise. I can try putting it up on the screen maybe with Owen's help. Yes? Okay. Oh, yes, for the win. And I have a conversion because my laptop is a C, not an A. I don't have an HTML. Do you have an A?
No.
Dang it, we can't put it on the thing.
Do you want to email it to me?
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, everyone, that we're like, I wasn't prepared for this. I'm just gonna send this
Talk amongst yourselves.
Beth, ignore the rest of this email since it's already drafted. I'm just sending it to you with the file attached.
Okay.
Thank you, a lifesaver.
Put my laptop here so you can.
Yeah. Okay.
Hopefully I don't break it again.
Note to self, get an HDMI conversion.
Yeah. Might as well. All right, a little disorienting. You gotta like look up there. It's not gonna be on the screen.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But you can see my self-energy.
Okay.
There we go.
Thanks, Beth.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is just the document that I was planning on sending out to you guys, kind of just to get some talking points going and getting everyone's different perspectives and thoughts on this. So just some guiding questions. While building this, I thought of the purpose, mission, and vision statement. While they all do seem the same and it might be overkill developing them all at the same time, they are all different and help us define some of the work that we do and the scope of our responsibilities. So some guiding questions for the purpose. Why does the Conservation Commission exist beyond the responsibilities assigned by RSA 36A? Just in response to this question, something that came up for me was really that community piece. So a lot of things, RSA is really definitive, you know, these are the lands, you protect them, this is how you manage the funds, that kind of stuff is defined there. But that's something that I kind of thought of, that, you know, is something that there's a purpose why we exist, to engage the community and connect them in nature. You know, some things that were just touched on in our iNaturalist, you know, the purpose for these kinds of events. What unique role does the Conservation Commission play within the town of Derry? I'm just going to blast through these. If the Conservation Commission did not exist, what would the town lose? And I personally thought that would be quite a lot. Some more things, including, you know, some central things for the mission statement. Again, these were all just questions that I had been asking myself leading up to this. And it kind of got me to these 3 statements here. The purpose, literally just describing our purpose. As authorized under RSA 36A, the Conservation Commission exists to ensure that Derry's natural resources and open spaces are not only protected today, but stewarded, understood, and strengthened for the benefit of future generations. That's pretty straightforward in, you know, the RSA, and a little bit expanded on. Mission and vision is where I kind of started building off of. The Derry Conservation Commission promotes the identity, resilience, and environmental health of the community through the protection, stewardship, and expansion of open spaces, natural resources, and conservation lands, supported by education, advocacy, and community collaboration. So that's kind of, you know, what we do, what we're striving towards. These are the things that kind of we put all together, that we all bring to the table. Each piece of us, you know, kind of builds on this mission. And the vision's a little bit different from that, a little bit more loosey-goosey, a vision, a dream of what we would like. So our vision is Derry will be a community with a lasting legacy of conservation, where forests, wetlands, waterways, wildlife habitats, and open spaces are recognized as essential to the town's character, environmental health, and quality of life. Through informed stewardship, community engagement, and long-term commitment to conservation, these resources will remain protected, resilient, and valued by future generations. So these were kind of the statements that I had kind of drafted up from those questions, and kind of from some of these themes. I kind of pulled these, I did a little ethnography on some of our conversations, and these were some themes that I kind of pulled from and wanted to make sure that they were addressed or mentioned in some way in these statements. But this is definitely something that I would love, that we all need to collaborate on and make sure that, you know, we all align with these statements as a commission. You know, I know Rick was saying if we were going to do this, we wanted to keep it short and sweet, and I feel like some of these would maybe have been a mouthful.
No,
So
I
it was
think they're
something I
good.
was
I think
thinking
they're
of.
good. I think good next steps would be get it out to the commissioners and
Yeah.
solicit feedback, and
Yeah.
we'll whittle it down and maybe tweak it a
Yeah, that
little
way we
bit.
can give some thoughtful input.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it looks good. Good start.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll get this sent, I know Beth already has the whole email, but I'll get it sent out, that way everyone can read it over and stuff. And along with this, I have been working on, especially with some of our new conservation commissioners, I mean, it was a resource I'd started when I had joined, was kind of like a guidebook to accompany the NHACC guidebook, something that was a little bit more specific toward Derry, our processes, our specific subcommittees and things as they differ between towns. And I was hoping to send out, you know, it's a larger thing than this, of course, so I couldn't go through it now, but send it out to you guys, get some experience from, get some input from experienced commissioners, people who've been doing this for some time, some of our new commissioners. I know that there's a lot to come in on this, and if you've had questions this time, and hopefully this guidebook can answer them, and if you still have questions, it would be great to pass them along, but that's another resource I kind of wanted to send out with this, because they kind of go hand in hand. But yeah, just some food for thought until our next meeting.
Yeah, good.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you'll get some feedback, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll have
And
this
really,
sent out
Val, I
tonight.
admire your passion about it. It really is. It's admirable.
It's great.
Yeah, nice work.
Step back a minute. I know I started this last year, but. Okay. I don't want to break it. I just press the button and unplug it? Or press the button,
Just don't let Beth touch
unplug
it.
it? Wait.
Not like that.
Not that.
My dad and my science project all over again.
Keep Beth away. State police are like, how come nothing's working?
Whoops.
All right. Any more other business before we go into non-public? And just a heads up, we are at 8:58, and we're supposed to adjourn at 9, so.
Sorry, I didn't
I
mean
have
to add that
something.
to the
Yes, Eileen, good.
I want to ask Rick Metz if when you were on the TRC, did anything get presented in regards to, the Lane Road project? You know how we only got to see the houses that were along, actually on Island Pond Road?
The ones that are being built now?
There's some being built now that are on the Lane Road side that weren't on that plan, and I'm concerned because while I do see it's like a rolled mulch barrier along the wetlands edge
lane
way
roads?
far down, but there's an awful lot of material getting moved out there, and so.
I haven't seen it in the last week or so. I did go by there and saw where they were working on Island Pond.
Yeah.
And they're not encroaching real close to the water. I haven't looked around the
There's
corner.
disturbed soil that goes right up to the edge, so I'm really kind of,
That would be
wondering
something
if
for code enforcement done.
that didn't come before you at TRC?
It did, but we discussed it here.
Well, not those particular lots. We only saw the ones along Island Pond Road that were way up high. We didn't see the ones on Lane Road.
There weren't any lots on Lane Road, to my knowledge.
Now there are.
Okay,
so
well,
I'm
that's something
concerned.
something for the building inspector and code enforcement.
So the Lane Road ones, if they met all of the, what we call a Plan A lot, meaning it had sufficient setbacks, road frontage.
Area,
it would have not come before us.
But they pushed soil right up to the, and I
No, I'm
don't
not saying that
know
they
if it
didn't-
incurred, some of it may have incurred into the wetland. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell from the road, but
Yeah, I'm not saying that they didn't do that. I'm saying
It's a
that
concern.
that we wouldn't have seen the plan if it wasn't like applied to push the stuff into the wetland. So you should reach out to Bob.
okay, I will.
Yeah.
Well, Bob's no longer there. It's
or
Yeah,
Carrie.
right, yeah, I'm
Carrie.
sorry, Carrie.
I'll reach out to her. I just wanted to know if it had been.
Instinct for Bob.
She's pretty responsive too.
Right.
Yeah, and she has to respond. So
Right.
that's how that works. If you call, there's a
Yep.
ticket written, and the ticket has to be executed. So
Okay.
give them a call.
And I'll take a drive-by tomorrow and
Okay.
see what it looks like.
Anything else for other business before we go into non-public? Non-public's not going to be, I don't know how long this PowerPoint is, but I have a couple of things to talk about. We're not going to have any action tonight, more just an information.
I have
we
a
have
couple. I have a couple too.
Yeah, you have to come up, state your name for the record. Actually, you know what? Is it, because this isn't a public hearing, we need to vote to allow this, right? All right, so I need a motion to allow gentlemen from the
Audience.
Move to allow 3-minute public input.
Okay, so Mr. Metz has made a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Second by Eileen. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, hearing none. Just state your name and where you're from for the record, please.
David Proventure, 26 Milton Moore Road. Hi all, y'all know me at this point. I've been coming to these meetings for a couple months now. Unfortunately, I'm triple booked for the day of the Bio Blitz, so I will not be able to make it as I had planned to. I have other higher priority items that I have to get to. However, learning today that it's a 24-hour event, I might try to make it after my other obligations.
Yeah, it's cool, right? You can go late.
So, yeah. So I look forward to seeing you all again on the 15th. Is when the next meeting is. And
Yes.
other than that, have a nice night.
All right, thanks.
David.
Thanks for
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
David.
Okay, if we're done, I'll entertain a motion to go into non-public, and we are going to invite Owen into our non-public because he's going to man the PowerPoint presentation. Beth, do you want to join or do you want to leave?
I can join.
Okay, so we're going to have to, after we vote one, then we're going to have to vote 2 more times.
Move to go into non-public session per RSA 91A3, Section 2, for the purpose of land acquisition.
Second.
So we have a first on the floor to go into non-public, a second. We need a roll call starting to my right.
Yes.
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 The chair votes yes.
Now I move to invite Beth Carver and Owen Preventure into the non-public.
Is there a second?
Second.
First and a second, roll call vote starting to my right.
Yes.
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 Yes, so that's unanimous. Okay, so we are going into non-public once we get a thumbs up from DerryCAM. Almost a thumbs up. Is that a thumbs?